why this still makes me so happy after 4 years. Hey, welcome to Geopats Podcasting. My name is Steph, and I was mid-sentence when we went live because I don't really prepare that well. Yay!
Yay!
No, just kidding. Hey, Geopats Podcasting, we are actually going to keep going with this podcast despite my announcement last month that we were switching completely over to Geopats Podcast Editing. Whoops. I can't stop interviewing people around the world about their podcasting experience and getting little bits of gems that can help you with your podcast. And today we're going to dive into how to get the right audience in the most strategic but emotional and thoughtful way, I think. I'm guessing because I've been watching this audience build up and I'm talking way too much right now. Casper, we need to have you introduced because this is not a monologue. Can you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Of course. My name is Casper Oliver. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the creator behind Jar Of Rebuke and a handful of other queer projects, all under Thesperience projects.
Yeah. And I've watched over the past few months over on Podcast Review Day as person after person, listener after listener after listener have given just ridiculously glowing and emotionally connected reviews of the Jar of Rebuke. And I finally listened starting a few days ago, and part of me over talking today is getting thoroughly addicted to the podcast. Which I keep yelling at Casper for, but it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Except for that, I'm waiting for the next episode to come out now.
I gotta wait a little less than a week now, so
that's a long time. I'll be patient. So I also interviewed Casper over on the Podcast Review Day side to get a listening perspective on a list of podcasts. So watch out for that. These two episodes are not coming out at exactly the same time, but I know you're going to want to hear more of them. So take a look over at the Podcast Review Day podcast. Okay. We promised audience stuff. So I've watched your audience be vocal about the Jar of Rebuke, but I'm curious about your side. How strategic were the promotions or the audience attention part of it all?
It was. So when it came to building any sort of listener base, I am someone who has done social media for conventions and community theaters and stuff like that. I've started up a lot of social media profiles for companies and stuff. Well, not companies, conventions. And so there are things that I learned with engagement. And that was more business minded of, okay, well, clearly the starting points are interacting with accounts that are similar to what I'm like looking for with Jar Of Rebuke, hashtags, figure out which hashtags to use, what kind of content do I post, et cetera, et cetera. There was that side of it, which is important, and you do need that. But the thing that I have been very adamant about with making Jar Of Rebuke and trying to get that community behind it, it's not so much about numbers. It's more about community. And I would much rather any day have a small group of people that enjoy it together rather than just this big amount of people who listen. Like I would much rather there be community. And the thing with Jar Of Rebuke and all the other projects that Thesperience makes is it's very queer driven. It's queer led. It's all queer stories. And when you put that into horror, you can really explore a lot of the queer experiences without being too in the face about it. So it's more abstract. And I think that can really bring a fan base together when you're going through something as intimate as like an audio journal. You feel like you're really getting into these intimate moments in someone's life, and that kind of brings you together. So it's been a mixture of business and trying to build these safe queer spaces that I sought when I was young. I'm still young. Younger when I was younger. I'm only 25. What am I talking about? But yeah, so seeking community and then just basic business strategy.
Yeah. Well, basic business strategy is something that a lot of independent podcasters don't necessarily come in with. So what does that mean exactly?
I think and this is coming from someone, I don't have a business degree. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'll act like I do.
But you've
It's
done it, and that holds a lot of cred.
yeah, I am someone who's been very lucky to, with the age that I grew up in and the communities that I was in, and just like the way of life that I've had, I've gotten very adept at like social media and making presences known and kind of putting names and faces out there. And so it's knowing basic tips. And these are also like things that you can just do a quick research. And I think it doesn't hurt anyone to just get the basic idea of how to promote themselves. Because there's only so much you can do with joining a few Facebook groups and posting online. Like you have to do a lot more. You have to reach out. You have to make connections. You have to be able to put yourself out there. You have to know where to look. You have to know what avenues to take. You have to know what's appropriate, what's worth it. And I think this isn't just something for podcasters, for any creator, no matter what kind of art you make, you have to know how to put yourself out there. So it's just,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I stop you there? Because where to put yourself out there, do you mean like emotionally how much to share, or do you mean physically which places online, or both?
Both. I meant the latter, but the former is very important as well. It's, for very different reasons. Putting yourself out there emotionally, I feel, makes more authentic art. I feel putting yourself out there makes deeper, richer stories. So I feel from a creative standpoint, yes, definitely. But also don't feel like you have to put everything out there. You know, it's Jar of Rebuke deals with a lot of very heavy topics and is very much rooted in the personal experiences of the creative staff. But there's also stuff that, you know, there's some baggage that we're going to leave off screen. But then with knowing where to promote yourself, knowing where to how to put yourself out there, knowing what circles online to worry about, what places to focus on when it comes to marketing, stuff like that. And also some things will work for some people that don't work for others. So if figuring out what works for you and your resources, your energy levels, your schedule, and then there's no right or wrong way to do this.
Well, to a degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are wrong ways to do it, but yeah, no, you have a point. There are wrong ways to do it. There's no set in stone correct, this is the way that you must do it.
That's very true. That's very true. And I don't want to seem too judgy there, because I think people that do it quote unquote wrongly aren't intentionally trying to yell at people or blast their information without connecting. I think it's just they're just trying different things. And I think they just don't know at first. So there is that. So
yes,
I hear you, but please stop, people. Please stop. But I heard someone say not too recently, I want to go back to putting the social back in social media, because they had been promoting so much that they forgot to actually just be them and share.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if you've ever found yourself in that situation, or if you've been because you had that experience before, you've stayed in that being social part the whole time.
No, I have hit that before. It's very much especially because it's not just with Jar of Rebuke, but also I am just a very public person. I am an activist. I have multiple podcasts. I love to be involved in other people's podcasts. I just love to interact with people. And so I've always been very to the public. And I used to vlog back years and years and years ago. And so it was kind of like figuring out what do I put out there to be consumed of my life? And what do I keep to myself? What do I keep for me and my friends? And then when that shift started to happen, it then became this whole, okay, what areas on social media are social media, or what parts of social media are social media? Like what? So it's like my Facebook is a bit more private and versus my Twitter, which is very public. And it's still kind of a juggling act of figuring out like, okay, do I want to use my Twitter to promote my works, or do I want to use my Twitter to be a person that can be connected with and just be me? And I'll admit, I still battle that. And so
Mhm.
that's why I think it's really good for podcasters and creators to have something separate. Like
Mhm.
have a page for your podcast or whatever. Like have a Twitter page for your podcast, right? And have all of your promotion go on that Twitter.
Mhm.
Have your own Twitter. Have your own page where you can also like interact with your own podcast and say, hey, I made this thing. Hey, this is mine. Go check it out. But then you can also interact with friends. You can also have a space to be yourself, because the number one thing that I think that creators tend to forget is we are not our projects. We are not our creations. We are the creator who made this thing, but that's not us. So
Yeah.
we have to remember that. Like we have to remember we are more than just our podcasts.
Mhm. It's true. And there's often a lot of different things that come through us at any given time. That sounds weird, but our creative
Mhm.
juices aren't just one thing always, the same
Oh
thing.
no.
So, but when yeah, that was a weird moment
Yeah,
visually.
sorry, my camera.
What?
Does it on
Sorry.
live streams too, and I'm like, ah.
Casper went kind of fuzzy and then came back, and you
I'm
had a
going
hand
ghost.
motion. That was very cool.
I'm going
Okay.
ghost.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh,
Remembering that
yeah,
we're more. Yeah.
and we forget that, like, sometimes if we get too deep into a project, we forget that it's not the only thing, and then we kind of lose the momentum to let other creative things kind of hit us, which I think
Yeah.
is slightly dangerous, because then you just become monotone, and monotone for creatives is just, I don't want to say death, but it's not good.
No, stagnance and feeling trapped in something. I also feel there's like nothing more suffocating to art than feeling trapped in that art.
Yes. Yes.
So,
That's so true. That is so true. Okay, so put yourself out there, where like have specific spaces for private you versus podcast you. Okay, your fan base is absolutely crazy about you. And I was looking at your Instagram and stuff, and I know I'm way too complimentary. You'll have to get over it. Um,
oh darn. Oh no, you really don't have to keep saying these nice things about me.
and I love the artwork that they do, that you put on your Instagram. I was just floored by how many of them, but more importantly, how individualized their artwork is. Like their interpretation of the characters and the stories is so
Yeah.
different from one to the other.
And
How did
that's
you get that going? I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. How I got that going was basically like I am a very artsy person, and I have a lot of very artsy friends.
Mhm.
So to be completely honest, to encourage people to draw art, I went to my friends who are queer artists
Uh-huh.
and commissioned them to draw Jar Of Rebuke art and then post it.
No.
And and so it's like, look, this artist who's like, like my friend, well, they're more of like a friend of a friend, but we're anyway. Cosmo, it's like, look, they drew Jared. Ooh, what's this? Go check it out. And so it was, I kind of started it by commissioning my friends to draw these characters,
Yeah.
and then just hyping it on both my Twitter and the Jar Of Rebuke Twitter, and just making it very clear, like, this is accepted, this is appreciated, this is encouraged, like this is, so that, and also just helping build spaces for them to promote themselves. Like we have the Jar Of Rebuke Discord server, which is more a Thesperience server, where because we also promote all of our other projects, but it started just as a Rebuker server, and just giving them a place to share their artwork, a place to promote their own social media, so they're all interacting with each other. And one of my favorite things about the designs is when I commissioned people to draw Jared specifically, I gave every artist I commissioned a different description.
Ah.
So I first like went to like Cosmo, like, hey, you listened to a few episodes. How do you imagine Jared? That sounds great. Could you draw that? I'm going to commission you to draw that. Hey, how did you imagine Jared? Do you have an idea for what you imagine Jared looking like? No. Okay, well, maybe try this. And if they had an image in mind, I would just say, I'm commissioning you to draw Jared as you imagine
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And I made it very clear when people would ask for a canon look for Jared, I would say, Jared has no canon look. Jared can look however you want them to look.
Yeah.
There are very few things that are like unshakable about characters. But I was very clear, like, Jared's story is being told for people to kind of like live through. So I'm not going to tell you how to view that. I give you what's put out there and you take it as you will. This is, once it's out there, it's for you. And so just that encouragement, I think. And then with our social media, I am very big on, like, someone posts on Tumblr or some artwork, I'll message and go, hey, do I have your permission to post this on our Instagram? I'll tag you, and getting that permission and then like getting that engagement. And so then using this to promote our listeners helps them find each other. So it's like all of this.
Oh my
so
gosh.
good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. I have to clarify a couple of things. By commission, are you saying that you paid these people to to draw the first few ones?
Yeah, most of the ones at the beginning where I reached out to my friends who were all like queer artists, and it was like, hey, I have this podcast. What are your commission rates? Hey, did you like go give it a listen? I'll, because again, friends gotta support friends. So it's like, here, I'll pay you to draw a character for my podcast. Here's okay, your commission's $30. I'm gonna send you 50. Here's $50. Do this doodle.
That's awesome. And was it known when you were posting did you make it known that you were commissioning them, or did you kind of just say, hey, my friend did this?
Well, no, they would post it, and if they said, hey, I was commissioned by Casper Oliver, I wouldn't hide it. It was just like, I commissioned you to draw this character. And anytime we post art, we always tag the artist. And I'm not ashamed to say, like, we commissioned this artwork because I'm not ashamed of supporting artist friends. And it's been really cool to see the reception it's gotten. I was kind of worried that the designs for Jared were all going to be like one singular design based off of the first ever art piece. And then just more and more and more started pouring in. And I was like, whew.
Oh my gosh. That is such a cool story. Okay. We have a comment. I didn't even promote that this was happening today. But
I did.
This is how popular. Oh, there you go. So Paige Wilson says, I love that. The thing I think I can read. I think the beautiful thing about podcasts is each person's interpretation of characters.
Yes. And that was the thing that I loved about when I was in Welcome to Nightville all those years ago, was that was very much like a thing, is everyone had their own view of these characters. Everyone had their own view of like how they looked and how they presented themselves. And you see that with a lot of podcasts. And I think that's like my favorite thing about audio dramas and stuff like that. You see those memes that go around that was like, podcast character, my beloved, and it's just a blank screen. Like stuff like that. It's like, it's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. And that space to imagine it as you imagine it that's redundant, but it's beautiful. That is the beauty of it being an audio drama and not a visual. Video drama, visual drama. I don't know. Whatever the other visually based one would be called.
The things with the eyes.
The things with the eyes that we would see if we saw something. What is it? TV? We say TV show. There's audio drama, and then there's just drama.
I think. There should be like a word for like TV and movie. Yeah. You know what? An audio drama and a visual drama. We're sticking with that. See,
it's not just me. There really isn't a pairing. Okay.
No.
We will have red wine with that, and we will have chocolate chip cookies because it doesn't have to be logical.
No, it's just got to be good.
There you go. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, I still feel like there's one more because there's something really, really unique about your audience community that isn't just the cerebralness of the first couple of items that you mentioned, like the conscious. I actually have a bug crawling on my microphone. That's awesome. Yay, summer.
It's also trying to get away from the heat.
Yeah, probably because the lamp's right here. So he's like, no, get away.
Well, okay, real quick, no joke. One time, I told you I'm in Florida. I was set up in my office one time, and I was doing, I think, a live stream or an interview, and I looked down. There was a lizard that big that had gotten in through somewhere, and I had to spend like 30 minutes locking my cat out of the office. so that he wouldn't come in and attack the lizard. And I'm trying to
Yeah.
catch. So hot climates.
Yeah.
They come
Things
in.
happen. Things absolutely. Things fly. Things crawl.
Oh my God,
A
so many things
lizard.
fly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Are you in a place that has flying roaches? Yeah. Yeah. I've lived in those. Danger. Danger. I used to like hum on my scooter as I was like driving in Taiwan, and then once a roach hit my teeth and fell on my thing as I'm driving, fell on my shoulder and started to crawl up me while I was still driving. I never ever opened my mouth while driving
Yeah,
again.
no, I don't blame you. Oh my gosh.
And he was giant, giant.
Oh,
Because in hot, humid environments, the bugs get bigger. Anyway,
right.
wow, deviation, yay! Right. So the first couple of things you mentioned were more of the strategic, very like what's worked before business wise for you, and then the beauty of the artwork is good too. But I feel like there's one more thing on how you get your audience involved. Do you find that a lot of them pull in their friends to the podcast too, or what else do you think is happening?
From a few things that I've noticed is that a lot of our current fan base has definitely stemmed from two different avenues. One is because this is a passion project, a lot of it is our cast and crew themselves promote, sending it to friends and saying, hey, you might really like this, and posting about it online and sharing it. So you're kind of getting people involved where it's like, oh, my friend voices a cryptid in this. My friend voices a scientist in this, and so you're kind of getting that connection. But also it started with, the core supporters were people that I met through the audio drama community. And they were very big on like retweeting and reblogging and stuff. But I came to learn, and I haven't seen this as much because it's like happening in places where I'm not in these servers or whatever. But like, I hear a lot, oh, like every time an episode comes out, I'm always posting about it in my Discord servers, or, I've bullied so many of my friends to finally listen to this. And I'm like, I'm seeing these like in the tags and stuff. So, and that's really, I think, so important, because with something like Jar of Rebuke can be listened to by anyone, but it's not for everyone. It's specifically written for queer people. Anyone can listen to it. And anyone who enjoys it, please, I am so glad and I love you and appreciate you. But it is a queer story.
Yeah.
And when it's shared between friends, that usually means, hey, I thought you would like this.
Yeah.
Which in my mind means that it's likely going to the right people. It's being taken, like people who have said like, oh, I love this series. I feel seen. I feel validated. I appreciate this. I and they're making art of it and all of that. And they're taking that love and saying, hey, I want to share this. And I think that adds to it, because even if we, the creators, don't see the bonds that are being affected by Jar of Rebuke, I think it kind of shows, like you see when friends get into it together. And I've seen on TikTok, there are two people that I've become friends with through cosplay on TikTok. They're friends with each other, and they've started to cosplay two Jar of Rebuke characters and interact with each other. Yeah, one of them cosplays Jared and one of them cosplays Mr. Zimmer, and they make TikToks together. And it's fantastic. And you can tell they put hours into the lighting and the music and the filming and the visual editing and all of that. And it blows my mind. But like, you see these interactions.
Oh my gosh.
And so it kind of comes with this added, like, yeah, I like this podcast, but also my friends and I like enjoy this together. And so it kind of just sweetens everything when the more love that's in it. That's what I hope for, at least. That's what I'm hoping is happening. I'm not quite sure.
I'm blown away that they're doing cosplay about your characters. And it's not even that far in. I mean, let's be honest. It's what, season 2? The beginning of season 2?
Yep, we're about to upload the second season of season 2 in less than a week.
That's a level of dedication that is amazing. Just wow. Wow. Okay, Paige said something else. Oh, my eyes. I have a friend who got me hooked into the Magnus archives. And so I return So in return, have been amping up Jar of Rebuke to them, and they immediately added it to the top of their podcast list. I fear that we're making your head too big today, Casper.
No, I get one of my our assistant writer Jenny O'Sullivan. She also voices Dr. Jamie Everett. Jenny is one of my best friends, and I have told Jenny many times, the moment my head starts to get big, just smack me, like don't let me. And she's like, oh no, what I'm gonna do. The core cast is all agreed that if my head starts to get too big and I start to get a bit too up my own butt, they're just gonna go, okay, Todd. Like, and I'm like, don't let me become Dr. Todd Carmen. Don't let me become, let me. So they're just like, no, if we ever call you Todd, I'm like, that'll probably fix that problem real quick. Which is so fun. The person who voices Todd is a voice actor named Conrad Mishuk, who I've admired for a long time. So him actually joining the podcast was a really odd experience. But one of the sweetest dudes I've ever met.
Right.
His bloopers are delightful in his email correspondence. He's so sweet. He's come to my live streams and supported my live streams. He's like, we're friends on Facebook, all this. But I bully his character so much because his character is such a jerk. So it's like, I'm sorry that Todd's the butt of a joke, Conrad, but you're delightful.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Final question. Who wrote, and I'm sure this exists somewhere, but I haven't actually dug into your guesting archives yet, but who wrote Jar of Rebuke? Is that all you, or is it a group of folks?
Primarily me.
Okay.
The first like 6 episodes, basically every episode up until Dr. Jamie Everett arrived, I fully wrote. With like a little help and a little plotting assistance, but I sat and wrote it. Once Jenny came on the cast and started doing things with Jamie, we started the script writing became a lot more collaborative. And so like Jenny and I will hop on calls, but I do make the primary like beats of the story, but I am always down to like listen to if my cast has any ideas. Last night we actually did our first group call. And it was me and 3 of the others, and we all sat and worked on an episode together. Yeah. And we all had the Word document. I was doing the typing, but we all had the Word document open, and they would suggest like, oh, maybe this word, or hey, what about they said this? Ooh, what if you tried this instead? And so it's getting more collaborative. But at the beginning, I did everything. And I have been so lucky to just kind of distribute and get assistance. So primary writers are me and Jenny O'Sullivan, but there are a few others on the cast who do assist from time to time.
That's amazing. My hat goes off to you. Some of the notes I wrote actually before we started talking was, for me, part of the thing that pulls me in is not just the humanity of Jared, but it's the what's not said. There's so much missing from the story that it makes the story amazing. It drives me insane because I want to know it now, but it pulls me forward in such a good way. And I'm like, this is infuriating. I love it.
The thing what's been so fun about Jar of Rebuke, because I've always loved mysteries. I actually, and there's my shirt. I am actually a murder mystery performer. I do like in-person murder mystery parties. I love watching murder mysteries. Yeah. I used to love reading murder mysteries. I'm just not as much of a reader as I used to be, unfortunately. But like, I love a good mystery. I love something that's going to kind of keep me on the edge and seeing if I can solve it before, and but you can love a mystery, and that doesn't make it easy to make one. And so I am also, and I tell anyone who enjoys any of the content that I make, and I tell this, and I'm like, yeah, sure, emphasizing this may ruin it, but whatever. I love foreshadowing. I will foreshadow anything that I can, and I will do it with like the order in which clues are given are sometimes a clue itself. But the thing is, Jared doesn't realize that because this is me, not Jared. So like the order in which things are said, the way that things are said, particular characters saying particular things, and it's just you have to be so careful. It's like it's like a Jenga game, and figure out what clues to pull out and show them. That's not going to make everything tumble.
Yep.
That's not going to reveal everything, because you want to wait for the reveals to make it all crumble at just the right time. And we all know that Jared is this close to crumbling anyway, so it's all a matter of time.
Yeah. And that intention in that craft comes across, and it's along with the humanity of it. It's just, oh my God, what just happened? What just happened? Sorry, my screen just completely went down.
Oh, well, I can
Are
still
you still
see
there?
you. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't do anything really embarrassing then.
Nope,
Okay,
you
hold
are
on.
all good.
Getting back. Wow, both of my screens just went completely. They both minimized.
Oh, weird.
That's
Well,
very strange.
you're still
Jared's
here.
among with us. Anyway, well, I promised to keep these shorter because I'm trying to do something different. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
But I think I think we've started to chip away at some of the reason why your audience is so dedicated. And I really appreciate you sharing, kind of peeking behind the intentionality and the stories behind you and your audience and your not staff. What am I saying? Your cast and your crew, and all the whole environment is just,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And I'm so happy to have met you and to have learned all of this. And I really look forward to that next episode. And if you release it early, we're okay with that.
Well, we do release we do release it earlier on Patreon.
Strategic. I love it. Yes.
But no, it's we are very excited for the 21st. It's a really good one. It's probably the most ambitious my audio editor has had to get. Hey Chelsea, sorry. So, but apparently, the Jenny who lives with Chelsea, Jenny's listened in, and sometimes she messages me. It's like, "Hey, Chelsea's working on the edit. It's sounding great," and I'm just like, "I'll be just as excited as you all." I'm like waiting for the email. I'm like, "I want to hear it. How did it come out? Let's go."
Do you get it before the Patreon release?
Yes, because it gets how it works basically is I send all the audio files over to Chelsea. Chelsea also gets the script and everything else. Chelsea takes a few days, edits it together, sends it back to me usually a few days before the episode release. I take a listen. If it's all good to go, I schedule it on Pinecast and Patreon. If it needs tweaks, I send it back and go, "Hey, could you raise the volume on this line? Could you adjust how loud Grove sounds? Could you maybe tweak this?" And just kind of do that. And then it goes up. So that's why sometimes it's available on Patreon a few days early. Sometimes it's just a day early. Depends on when everything gets squared away.
Gotcha. All right. So let's remind the folks where they can find all of your projects.
All right. So if you want to look up Jar of Rebuke, basically any social media, just look up Jar of Rebuke on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. We're there. If you want to find all of our projects, which is various other podcasts, and here soon we're going to be making like a webcomic, and we're going to work on a few other things. It is under Thesperience Projects. So Thesperience as a play on thespian and experience. So Thesperience on Twitter and Instagram, and we're setting up a Tumblr. You can find us and all of our projects and other ways to support the cast and crew.
Yay, fantastic. And again, just a quick reminder that Casper and I did a quick interview about a list of queer horror podcasts over on the Podcast Review Day podcast. That's a lot of podcast in one sentence. I'll have the link in the show notes for you all. Thank you to Paige for showing up in the chat room and joining us for this. That was
Thank you, Paige. Paige is one of our Patreon supporters. So thank you, Paige.
Yay. I know she mentioned she was going to listen to the episode when it came out early. I'm a little jealous, Paige. Okay. Anyway. All right, Casper, thank you so much, seriously, for today. And I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't actually have an outro. I suck. All right, thank you, everybody.